I was quite surprised the other day reading the scriptures, which doesn't often happen because I'm reasonably familiar with them. But I was reading Luke's account of the Last Supper. And after Jesus told his disciples that one of them would betray him, they went into debate and discussion about which one it would be. So they were talking with each other about who would do this, who would stoop this low. And then immediately after that, it says a debate arose among them about who would be regarded as the greatest. And I thought, what a contrast. Here are these men talking together, and the first thing they're talking about is, how low can I sink? And the second thing they're talking about is, how high can I soar? And it seemed just a strange contrast to me that they could move between these two options so quickly. But it seems as if they're asking one another, where do I stand in the hierarchy of everything? Am I down there with the traitors, or am I up there with the angels? Where do you stand? Seems to be quite a common question among some of God's people. We want to know what our status is, what our position is, how much honor we should be afforded. I think this is one of the reasons why Jesus, in John's account of the Last Supper, decides to wash their feet and give them a wonderful example of servanthood. Because we're not here to compare each other with each other. We're certainly not here to compete with one another. We're here to be the servants of Jesus. I know there's a lot of modern ideas going around about how intimately we're involved with the Father, and that's good, and how much we relate to our brother, the Son, and that's good too. But we must never forget the fact that first of all we are servants of God. Paul wrote to the Corinthians and he said, when these preachers, these teachers measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves, they are not wise. It's not a wise thing to do. Do you remember when, after the resurrection, Jesus meets the disciples on the seashore and challenges Peter, do you love me? And then Peter looks and sees John and he says, well, what shall this man do? And Jesus said, if it's my will that he should abide until I come again, what is that to you? You follow me. See, we shouldn't be concerned about what the other man has to do, what the other man's calling or ministry is. We should just pursue what God has given us to do. That's all we need, and that will satisfy us. When Paul was teaching about the church, he said, you know, because you're not some important and prominent part of the body, you can't say I don't belong to the body. Or because maybe you are a very prominent part, you can't look down on somebody else and say, I don't need you. We need one another. When Jesus comes again and we stand before his judgment seat, he's not going to say to anybody, well done, good and faithful preacher. Well done, good and faithful pastor. Well done, good and faithful bishop. He's not going to say any of that. He's going to say to those of us who got on with what he gave us to do, he's just going to say, well done, good and faithful servant. That's enough praise. That's enough position. That's enough honor. That's all we need to find at the end that we have been faithful servants of Christ. Let's serve him wholeheartedly, for he alone is worthy.